You know the feeling. You walk up to a glass door, you grab the flat metal handle, and you tug, only to violently jolt to a stop in a fraction of a second. You've wasted your physical momentum, and you feel a brief, sharp flash of embarrassment in front of whoever happens to be watching. But that pause isn't a personal failure. It happens because the physical shape of that handle sent your brain a clear signal to pull, even though the door was built to be pushed. Compare that stumbling halt to the feeling of using a tool or an app where your hands just know exactly what to do without a single conscious thought. I've spent 16 years building brands. I've launched more than 60 products, and I have seen this exact freeze happen, not just at doors. It happens on store shelves, inside apps, on packaging. Most people think good design is about how a product looks. That is wrong. Good design is about removing the exact moment where a customer stops and thinks. By the end of this video, you will know the 5-step process that designers use to find that moment and remove it. And if you have ever built a product, launched a feature, or designed packaging, this framework will change how you look at every friction point your customer feels. Product design is the discipline of closing that gap. It's a process of engineering interactions, so they align with how people naturally move and think. Eliminating that friction requires a highly structured, step-by-step pipeline. It starts with research. Designers watch how people interact with objects in their daily lives, documenting the exact moments where users stumble, hesitate, or get annoyed. Direct observation is necessary, because most of us struggle to explain why a product is difficult to use. We might blame ourselves for the mistake, but a designer looks for the specific cue that caused the confusion. Those observations flow into the define phase. Here, the raw data is filtered until the team isolates the specific obstacle that needs to be removed. If a team rushes past this phase, they risk spending months building a solution for a problem that doesn't actually exist. Creating an effortless experience depends on accurately identifying a human behavior before any physical work begins. During the ideation phase, the team generates a massive volume of potential fixes, from simple, practical tweaks to experimental concepts. The most promising ideas move into prototyping, where they are built into rough, testable models to see if they can survive outside of a sketchbook. These prototypes then face the testing phase. They are handed to actual users to see if any confusing buttons or awkward handles still remain. Designers analyze every mistake the user makes, tweak the model, and test it again. They repeat this loop until the interaction becomes fluid. The finished product is the version that survived this repetitive, unforgiving cycle of trial and error. But smoothing out a user's experience is only one part of the job. A product must also satisfy the needs of the business, whether that's reducing manufacturing costs, increasing overall efficiency, or building brand loyalty. Product design acts as a bridge, ensuring the solution works for the person using it while simultaneously meeting the company's objectives. When these two forces are balanced correctly, the design itself tends to fade into the background. The next time you push a door open or navigate an app without having to think about it, you're seeing the result of a process that removed every reason for you to stop. And here is the part most marketers and founders miss. That same freeze happens with your product. A confusing pack, an extra step at checkout, a feature nobody finds. Your customer doesn't complain. They just quietly stop. So here's the question I want you to think about. Where right now is your customer standing at a glass door pulling when your product was built to be pushed? I have spent 16 years and more than 60 product launches learning to find that exact spot and remove it. It is the same 5-step process you just learned. Research, define, ideate, prototype, test. This means it works whether you are designing a door handle, an app, or the product sitting on a shelf right now. If you want the full step-by-step framework I use to remove friction before a product ever reaches the customer, join my new product development course at ryansconsulting.com. I will walk you through it, launch by launch, decision by decision. Stop losing customers at the door. Go build something they never have to think about.